I guess you could say we're high school sweethearts-ish. We
Okay.
met we met online, but not in the way that you think.
Okay, I'm curious. Low Park Avenue. I am Whitney Carlson. You may not know me since I am usually working behind the scenes as the Director of Communications here at Park Avenue. But today I am really excited to be here because I have the chance to speak with Reverend Shandon Klein, who has just been appointed our new senior pastor.
Hey.
Yay. I'm so excited. Park Avenue is so excited. And just to give you a short background, she's currently serving at Breckenridge UMC in Fairmont,
Yeah,
UMC near the North Dakota-Minnesota border. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So Breckenridge is in Minnesota, so Breckenridge, Minnesota, and then Fairmount's in North Dakota. And
Okay.
so
See, I
they're
did
only
not know
20
that.
minutes away from each other.
Oh, wow. Two states.
So, but like you cross the river. Basically, North Dakota is about 4 minutes away from me.
Oh,
So
wow.
just
Which
go.
state do you live in?
I live in Minnesota, so
Okay.
I live in
So
Breckenridge.
Okay. You will be moving here to the Twin Cities area. And before we begin into the questions that we have, I'm just going to give you a short rundown of what has been going on at Park Avenue, especially if you are new to Park or you are new to the UMC, or maybe you don't know how the United Methodist Church runs things. Our pastors are appointed, which means somebody else chooses them. Park does not choose who the pastor is, but it is a process that's led by the bishop and the conference, and there is consultation with our church leadership. So over the past year, we have been so grateful for the leadership of our interim pastor, Reverend Dan Johnson, who came here specifically to be an interim. The bishop decided that Pastor Shandon is going to be our pastor. We just found out, and everyone is excited. Throughout this whole year, the church has had listening sessions. We've presented to the conference what we're looking for, what we hope for. And so they've done just a great job of finding you and allowing us to get to have you as a pastor. The staff at Park has helped me come up with more than several questions that
Okay.
I'm really excited to ask you and hear your thoughts on. The first one is based on kind of how we always start our staff meetings. We usually have a devotion that is led by a different staff person every week. And then we sit around the table and we ask, where have you seen God's goodness in the last week? And so I wanted to start with that to see how you would
Yeah.
answer that.
God is always good all time. um, One of the things that I can say, like especially within this past week, like it actually started. I can start as early as this morning. So I am a part of. Some might remember within the Wesleyan tradition, there was things called Wesleyan bands, where it's a small group of people where you basically share your lives together and, see what's going on in your lives. And it's almost like, I almost call them like accountability buddies, right? Like just
Yes.
where you have that one person that can be there for you on a spiritual level. Like I've been doing this since I was in seminary. So let's see, I graduated seminary in 2021. And we've still continued to on to do it. And so it's a really good friend of mine that I have a band with. We go and talk about like where we've seen God in the past, since the last time we talked, just the different things that are going on in our lives and where we're seeing God moving, just, where we are in terms of our relationship with God and with others and with ourselves, and where we might be faltering, where we need some help, like that kind of thing. And it's just whenever we have those conversations, it's always just one of those reunions. And it's just like, it's always so, so good. So I definitely shout out my bandmate that I talked to this morning. The other is just for Sunday worship. I lead a little children's time based off of my my sermon that I have. I just spin it off for like maybe 5 minutes. And it was just really fun because I want to say that he's about 7 or 8 and so pretty young. And I wasn't quite sure. We were talking about pop quizzes,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like I had taken the scripture on the road to Emmaus is Jesus giving a pop quiz to his disciples. It's kind of failed some of the other quizzes beforehand. But I didn't really know on whether this kid had ever experienced a pop quiz before,
Oh, yeah.
like, and so I'm like, okay, so I'm not sure if you're at the level yet, but are you getting any like quizzes or tests from your teachers? Like, yeah, we get those. And I asked on whether they ever had a test that the teacher gave that they weren't prepared for. She's like, no. I'm like, oh, well, God bless you. And like back in my day,
Yes.
we have these things called pop
Pop
quizzes,
quizzes. Oh, my
like,
goodness.
and so I was basically sharing on how Jesus might kind of give us those pop quizzes, but it's not in a way that is supposed to be like, just being mean or anything like that. It's just to
Uh-huh.
make sure that we actually know the things that
Uh-huh.
we're doing and whether we're creating wisdom out of those things and applying those things to our lives. And so I just asked him, I'm like, but you're pretty good at those pop quizzes, right? Like, what happens when, somebody gets bullied in front of you? What do you do? They're just like, tell a teacher? I'm like, yeah, that's a good
Oh,
answer. She was like,
yes.
okay. I'm like, okay, well, what if somebody falls down? What would you do? Help them up? And I'm like,
Look at
look at
that.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God gives us pop quizzes all the time. And what we do, we just learn from the lessons that Jesus has taught us to go and share love for all the people. And so we
Yeah.
don't have to be afraid of those quizzes. We just call on God. And so it's
That's
just, and
so
she's just like,
sweet. Yeah.
so, just
Yeah.
those things. I love kids.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's like I always love those moments that I get to spend with them.
It's amazing. And this is a good segue into two questions that
Okay.
Pastor Annie shared with me
Okay.
that the kids usually, sometimes if they have guests, the
Uh-huh.
kids will get to ask them a question.
Yeah.
And I will just sneak in here real quick because it's really funny. The last time I was in there, which was recently, my question was, how much money do I have in the whole world?
In the whole world.
Yes. So I chose instead to let them know how much cash was in my purse. But that is not the normal question. The first question is, what is your favorite animal?
Oh, I love tigers.
Ooh,
They're
that's
like, oh,
fun.
seriously, my favorite animal. They're
Okay.
gorgeous.
They are. Yes. Okay. I love that. Tigers. I'll have to remember that. And the other is, if you could be really good at a skill, what would it be?
Mind reading.
Yeah.
I mean, in some
Okay.
cases, I wouldn't really want to, but
Yes. Yes. But if you could,
yeah,
yeah, maybe if you could turn it on and off.
if I could turn it on and off, I
Yeah.
would love to be great at mind reading,
That's awesome.
especially as a pastor,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and especially being in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, that's what I was gonna
Yes.
Yes.
Like I
Yeah. Let me know if you get good at it, okay?
I'm getting better. I'm getting
Okay.
better.
Something else we would love to know is just a little bit about your family and then the people who are around you who shape your life. And you already shared one person who is
Mhm.
your
My
oh, I already
hubby.
forgot. I keep thinking accountability partner is
Yeah,
your
my accountability buddy.
accountability buddy. I knew Buddy was in there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
who else is part of your family?
Sure. So my wonderful husband is a part of my family. We have been together for 25 years. It'll
Wow.
be 26 years in September. And let's see, we've been married since 2017. I guess you could say we're high school sweethearts ish, but we
Oh
didn't
my
meet in the
gosh.
traditional way.
Okay.
We
Okay.
met we met online, but not in the way that you think.
Okay. I'm curious. Do you want to share this with
Friends, yeah,
us?
I like we can't because like this will open up a lot of things. And it probably leads to one of the other questions that you guys have. So are you familiar with WWF, like WWF wrestling.
Yes, familiar. Yes.
Familiar. So back 26 years ago, super huge fan of WWF wrestling, grew up on it, and we met in a WWF chat room.
That is amazing. My goodness.
And so, like, we were friends for like 3.5 years,
Yeah.
and we met each other in person when I was in my first year of college. And it was basically like we had known each other forever. And then I decided to move from there to move up to be in Fargo. And we're been
Wow.
together ever since.
Oh my gosh. I was not expecting that. I love it. That is so
So
are you still into WWF?
no, man, like the storylines, it's like it gets boring. This is for all of those who grew up back in the day with The Rock and Stone Cold, and I'm in Dallas Page. And so I know that there's some people out there who know who I'm talking about. Like around that era, Attitude Era, that was
Yeah.
kind of like the time before. But I know all of those, like Jake the Snake and like, you know, like Randy Savage, like all of those ones are all of those things. But I'm more of the like the nostalgic classic,
Okay.
wrestling type or whatever. But yeah, this new school stuff, I
The
tell
new
you, I feel like I'm at that age now where I'm like, they just don't build them like they used
They
to.
don't. Oh my
It's just,
goodness.
I mean, it's the sports soap opera, as
Yes.
many, many different sports entertainment pieces are now.
Yes.
It was the OG
Yes.
one that we all
That
turned into.
oh my goodness. So amazing. And a tidbit, did you know there at Universal Studio,
Mhm.
Halloween Horror Nights, there was
Yeah.
a WWF haunted house.
Stop it.
Yes.
Stop it.
And I
I would
got to
love it.
go and it was hilarious and fun and ridiculous. But
I
that's like
love
my
it.
main experience
That's
of doing that.
amazing. I love it.
Thank you for sharing that story.
I
I
figured that'd
love
be a
that.
funny story to share.
That's such a good story. Yes. And so and if you want to leave a comment and you're a big WWF fan, let us
Yes,
know.
let's talk.
So yes. Yes, let Pastor Shandon know.
Yeah, for sure.